Hi, and welcome to another version of our QC Crime Watch. I'm Linda Cook.
And I'm Sharon Wren.
And we are reporters here at ourquadcities.com and WHBF. But what we are not is attorneys, and we cannot give legal advice.
So don't even ask. We'll just tell you now.
Sorry about that. And Sharon has a very fast-paced story today, right, to start us off with?
Oh, I think fast-paced is a good way to describe this one. Everybody at one time or another has had a bit of a lead foot on the roads.
Correct.
I admit, I am one. But what people might not know is that if you speed enough miles an hour over the speed limit, that's a felony.
Yes, it is.
Yes, and a young woman, an 18-year-old woman from Moline found that out the hard way. According to the criminal complaint, there was a vehicle pursuit in Davenport on December 27th. A responding officer was on Interstate 74 when he saw a 2014 Dodge Dart, this will be important, that was pulling away from him on the interstate even though he was driving about 125 miles an hour at the time.
Okay.
The officer sped up to 130 and was not able to catch the Dart.
Oh dear.
So he turned on the siren and the car finally slowed down by the middle road exit on 74. The officer clocked the vehicle as doing 127 miles an hour in a posted 65 zone.
Ooh.
Yes. So a young woman named Hannah McCullough was arrested at the scene. She asked the officer to please get her purse and her phone from the car,
Okay.
which he did, and in the process of retrieving them, he found a red Spider-Man glass pipe with marijuana residue and 2 electronic vape pens.
Okay.
Wait, there's more.
Oh.
There was also a small bottle of Fireball in the car's cup holder. I remind you, the defendant is 18.
Okay. Oh dear.
Yes, and the marijuana is not legal in Iowa. It is legal in her home state of Illinois,
Right.
but so she has been charged with Class D felony eluding 25 miles an hour or more over the speed limit. She's also been charged with misdemeanor paraphernalia possession and misdemeanor person under the legal age. So if you're ever looking at somebody at the court records or jail records and you see the letters P-U-L-A, it's not in another language. It doesn't mean anything bad. It's person under legal age. So she was released from the Scott County Jail and is awaiting her first court appearance.
Okay. Now, this could be a lot worse. She could have hit someone else in this pursuit.
Or a deer could have very easily run in front of her on the interstate.
Absolutely. Or destroyed someone else's property. So those things don't contribute to her charges.
Yeah.
Right. And a D felony is the lowest felony. Right. A is the more big time violent type stuff.
A for awful.
I guess you're right. D sometimes gets pleaded down depending on the situation.
Right.
So we'll follow this, right?
We'll follow this one. She doesn't appear to have any other previous interactions with the police in Scott County, so she may get a lesser.
Right. They'll take that into consideration.
Yes.
Okay. Well, mine is a little bit different. Mine is sort of a trend story, Sharon. And within, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks, in the last 2 to 3 weeks, I have written several times about wire theft suspects. One of the wire theft suspects, for example, is named Ricky Appleby. He's 28. Now, he faces a felony charge of third-degree burglary. Now, this happened on the 1700 block of West 7th Street in Davenport when officers say he entered a property with the intent to commit a theft. Now, he was read his Miranda rights, and that's very important to mention. According to the arrest records, after he was read his Miranda rights, he admitted to entering the property and taking wire from the garage. He took less than $300 worth of property, and he was being held in Scott County Jail at the time. He is scheduled for a preliminary hearing January 2nd. Now, but what does this mean? This is a small theft.
Right.
But I have written about several people in the last few months who are stealing wire. And so I wanted to do a little research on this. And according to Macro Trends, the price of copper recently went a little bit over $4 per pound. So recyclers pay for copper wire depending on what type of copper is used and its condition. Copper is a valuable metal, we all know that, and it's widely used in industry, and I did not think about this, because it has unique properties. It has high electrical conductivity and corrosion resistance.
Which is why they use it for wires.
Right, exactly. So the last few months, or actually years, the incidence of cable theft has risen, and that has resulted in significant economic losses and disruptions, to critical infrastructure in various countries. This is not just an American thing, and this is according to Smart Energy International. And the form of theft has become a global problem. It's led to rising prices and the temptation to steal cable for resale. Yeah. And these cables are usually stripped of their insulation and then sold to scrap dealers, who then sell the copper to smelters or exporters. Now, not too long ago, this is a recent crime, but recent in terms of years, a Clinton man, a 42-year-old Clinton man, was arrested for trying to steal spools of wire. And
those aren't small.
They aren't small. His name is Jay Koska. He faces felony charges of first-degree theft, second-degree criminal mischief, and conspiring to commit a non-forcible felony, along with a serious misdemeanor of trespass. This happened in Princeton, Iowa, and Mr. Koska and co-defendants between July 20th and August 2nd, police say in affidavits, conspired to take these wires or spools of wire worth about $15,000.
Ooh.
Now, during the theft, the property of the victim was damaged by Koska and the co-defendants, police say. So I'm going to keep following Koska's case, and these are smaller crimes, but they affect everybody. Think about if you have this on your property. Think about what this means if you're trying to recycle something honestly.
Oh.
Everybody is affected by these smaller crimes. So I wanted people to know that this crime trend is out there, and it doesn't look as though it's slowing down.
Oh, well, if it's worldwide, it's going to take a lot of work to end it.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, well, we have an update on a case from back in 2020 where 2 men were accused of committing 10 separate armed robberies in the Quad Cities, as well as shooting 2 men and carjacking a woman. All of their 20-plus victims, in one way or another, had their lives threatened during these incidents.
And they were probably terrified.
Yes.
Okay.
According to court documents, one victim said she was terrified that she was going to be killed, and her young son across the street, I don't know if it was a boy with a young child across the street, would hear it, would hear his mother being killed.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Yeah, so 2 gentlemen, Emmanuel Howard, age 24 of Davenport, and Evander Jordan, age 39 of Rock Island, were arrested in 2021 in a 15-count indictment that showed armed robberies at several pizza restaurants in the Quad Cities, including the Rock Island and Davenport Little Caesars and the Pizza Hut on Locust Street.
Oh, I remember this. Okay.
Yes. Now, at the time this was all going down, Mr. Jordan was on supervised release for conspiracy to commit armed bank robbery, and brandishing a weapon. He had the terms of the release revoked because of these incidents. The gentlemen have been in prison since they were arrested, or in jail. Okay. Excuse me, not prison. You're not in prison until you're convicted.
Right.
They were in jail since they were arrested in 2021. Mr. Howard has been sentenced to a total of 50 years in federal prison.
Oh my, okay.
Oh, Mr. Jordan has been sentenced to a total of 150 years and 1 month in federal prison. The ATF and the FBI were investigating this case along with local authorities.
Wow.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. But when a judge and juries are asked to do this too, when people are asked to convict, they're asked to take everything into consideration. Are they guilty of this particular charge? And then the sentencing, the judge always says, I must take into consideration the safety of the community.
Yeah, so that explains things. And there's no parole in the federal system.
Right. I think people forget that.
Yes,
that's important to
that
remember.
might be, there's parole in I don't know, let's call it normal prisons, for lack of a better word, but in federal, nope.
No parole.
No parole.
So that's a long time. You're going to do most of that sentence. Probably.
Yeah. I don't think Mr. Jordan's going to see the end of his sentence, sadly.
I don't either. Yeah. That's a lot of years.
Yeah. Well, we want to do a quick update, because some people are still asking, on the personal injury wrongful death lawsuits stemming from the collapse of the Davenport building in 2023. The case is still proceeding. It hasn't been settled. There's been no talk of settlements. On December 20th, a certificate of transmission of record was filed in Scott County Court. Now, that's a document that confirms that a legal case file from a lower court was sent to a higher court for review on appeal. It includes the case number, the parties, the date it was transmitted, how it was sent, snail mail versus email or whatever, and is signed by the court clerk. This case is progressing very slowly, and lately there's been a filing of some sort every couple of months. So it's a complicated case, a large number of defendants, more plaintiffs have been added since it was initially filed. We have no idea when this is going to go to trial.
I've had people ask me too, when is this going to end? And the answer is we don't know. Honestly, we have no precedent for this kind of case. Neither one of us has covered anything like this before. So it could be a number of years.
I'm just throwing this out there, maybe 27.
Maybe.
And that is a maybe, just picking a number out of a hat, basically.
Right.
So,
right.
But we are going to continue following this case.
Yes, we will.
To the end.
We will.
Okay, well, we have a story that happens in the Quad Cities, but what makes it a little different is who was involved. A woman from Moline was arrested just before Christmas and charged with 2 Class X felonies: manufacturing child pornography and predatory criminal sexual assault of a child. It's a little unusual because it's a woman, and that I don't want to say traditionally, but much more often, it's men.
Men are involved in that kind of crime.
Who were accused of this crime. The Illinois State Police issued a search warrant on June 19th as part of an investigation into dissemination of child pornography. Over the next several months, they identified a woman named Shayna Miller, age 46, as a suspect in the case, according to the criminal complaint. She was arrested on December 21st in Moline and has a preliminary hearing on December 31st. She is being held on no bond, and there is a petition to deny pretrial release that was filed on December 23rd.
So we don't know, but it's possible she could be given pretrial release. We just don't know.
We don't know, but as many people had been concerned about when the no cash bail was instituted in Illinois, they thought it was going to be all kinds of people were getting released, but no, you can still be held.
That's right. They're not just letting people out, willy-nilly.
No.
And I think that really did scare some people. In fact, I wondered about that when I first read about it. Now I realize it's a lot more complex than that.
Right. They're not letting the alleged dangers to society loose.
High risk
people.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Everything's alleged until there's a conviction.
Thanks, Sharon.
Yeah, and we're going to keep following this one too. This is
I think we have about 270 cases we're following right now between the two of us. And
the day is still young.
That's right. But the year is not. So we hope that you begin this year safely, and we beg you to remember to lock your cars regardless of how long you're going to be gone from them.
Yes.
And just stay aware, and thanks for listening.
Yeah, and stay out of jail or we'll write about you.